With almost a full month to go, Netflix has unveiled their newest trailer for their Avatar The Last Airbender adaptation for Book 2 of the original cartoon. And right off the bat, not to bury the lead here, but this trailer is so much better than the first one in every way. Kind of makes me wish this was the first trailer instead, but I digress. There are a lot of cool reveals here that will get fans excited, and from a filmmaking perspective, Season 2 already looks so much better in comparison to Season 1. We will break all of that down and more, so let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I'm going to break it down in chunks instead of going through it scene by scene like I did with the first trailer. For me, going into this trailer, what I was looking forward to the most was to see if the bending looked better. The first trailer we got really didn't show enough for me to get an idea of it. I think it's safe to say that I am very pleased with what I am seeing here. Because this show is no longer filming in the volume stage, not only does it look better in camera, but it seems like it will be more fluid. The problem with using the volume technology is that because it shrinks everything down, it prevents actors from moving around and being free with their movements. The fight scenes in the original cartoon are so chaotic at times and require the characters to be constantly moving around and doing things that most people can't. When bending is involved, you have to be aware of this. Trust me guys, the fight scenes are going to look so much better than Season 1. Season 1 was made during a time in the streaming era where productions on shows were hampered by illogical uses of the volume and green screen technology. For a while, sometimes productions wouldn't even bother to shoot on location or build their own sets, which is what the show has done now by going over to Vancouver in Canada to capture all of the beautiful landscapes and more. One side note about the filmmaking, but I do think some scenes need to be a little brighter and not as dark. They released an image online of the Fire Nation like a week ago or so now of the trio of girls that we know, and you can barely see without squinting. I also just wish the colors weren't as desaturated as they are, because I think they could just add a little bit more color to it. With that all aside, just looking at the action we are given, I like what I see. The battles between Zuko and Aang, Zuko and the gang fighting Azula, some of the stuff relating to when the Blue Spirit comes out, a small shot of Toph fighting the boulder in Earth Rumble 6, and then even seeing Aang train with Toph for his earthbending. I know a lot of people were harping on Season 1 for not showing us waterbending training, and recently in an interview, new showrunner Jabbar Riasani confirmed that we will see Aang train in both waterbending and earthbending. So to those fans who wanted to see it, your wish has been granted. My only two gripes with the action and bending in this trailer are that sometimes the earth bending does have a little bit of a weightless feel to it. When the rocks are being struck, you can tell there's a little bit of a shake to it, but when they float up, it just looks a little weird, but that's just a nitpick. Also, the famous last cave fight from Book 2, right as the season ends, when Azula, Aang, Katara, Zuko, and Iroh fight each other, does show a little bit in the blue screen/green screen that they used to film it. So hopefully, that looks a little better when the show drops and we get the full scene in context. Moving over to analyzing the characters and storylines, most of what we get here is the surface level of what we know already from the cartoon. We are getting a lot from Ba Sing Se, the Serpent's Pass is being adapted, Jet is going to show up and disrupt things in the city, and we will also probably see his death given this one shot of him crying. This shot of Uncle Iroh makes me believe we will see his Tales of Ba Sing Se's story when he went out to honor and remember his son. That will probably get people crying for sure if it is done well. We also have our first confirmed look at the Dai Li, which is wonderful to see. For the most part, everything we are seeing lines up with what we know from Book 2. We already knew this because of confirmed castings and images, but of course, we have Judy to be the gang's guide through Ba Sing Se, and if it was me, one of my wishes for the Netflix show would be if they actually explored the lore of Lake Laogai even more than what we were given in the cartoon. To this day, it might be one of the most terrifying aspects of the show. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when you tell me that one of the most integral places on the planet has a shadow government like the Dai Li, who use this old prison to conduct covert operations, use torture to brainwash people, and keep the citizens in the city in check, I want to learn more. Is that something you would like to see? do let me know. Another reveal we got is Wan Shi Tong's library. We knew this already based on behind-the-scenes photos, but these are the official shots of the library. The shot of him coming down was pretty cool, and I love the addition of the dragon skeletons being hung up. Again, that just looks really cool. It's a feature that I don't believe we saw in the cartoon, so I'm glad that they tried to add that in. This is another one of those scenarios where I would not mind if the Netflix version was able to adapt more of the lore behind the library, given its secrecy, but also the fact that it is heavily guarded by Wan Shi Tong, and no one is ever able to escape. It makes you wonder how much bigger so much of the information is that is stored inside of it, besides how the cartoon depicts them getting the information about the solar eclipse. Which, by the way, this shot here confirms that we will see that happen. How our group gets to the library is a situation that we don't know the full details of just yet, which is why this perfectly transitions into another big reveal, which is that Appa's Lost Days will be getting adapted. This was another story arc that people were wondering if it would be adapted, and it looks like it will be in some fashion. This obviously correlates to how they get to the desert and how they get out of the desert, but we will see him captured at some point. We see the famous shot of Momo sitting in his paw print, which may or may not be in Ba Sing Se. You can't quite tell, but for now I will just assume that it is. Either way, what set some people off before about this storyline is that they didn't know if it would be adapted due to the budget constraints it would have on the show. Appa is a fully CGI character, and it would cost a lot of money to keep him on screen, but it seems Netflix in some way is going to take that risk and do it. I don't know if we will see him going through the circus or meet up with the Kyoshi warriors at some point, so we will have to wait and see if that happens. Speaking of captured, just as a quick note to point out, we see Sokka being captured by the Dai Li, and Toph is captured as well in the metal cage. Seems like that will be a big theme with this season, but in fairness, that was also the case in the cartoon as well. I look forward to seeing how Toph gets her metal bending with that. Finally, I want to spend just a little bit of time on this one shot, which seemingly confirms that the painted lady will show up way before she is supposed to. I had to do a double take because I was taken way off guard by that reveal. This doesn't look like anyone else we've seen before in the show, so it would have to be her. Some people online are annoyed that Season 2 is already bringing in Book 3 episodes from the cartoon. And so, here's my thought on this. Do I think this was necessary? No. But I'm not completely mad at it, and I'm not losing my mind. Just from my perspective, this may or may not be a hot take, but I don't think that the Painted Lady episode in the cartoon is necessary either. I've always looked at it as an episode meant to develop Katara's character through something that we already knew about her and her beliefs. It's not as much of an unnecessary episode like The Great Divide is, but I still think it fits as an unnecessary inclusion to the story. I think with what Netflix is doing, they are probably going to attach that to Ba Sing Se in some way. I hope it doesn't take up too much time in an already shrunken season with 7 episodes, which has been my biggest complaint for the show, but that's just the TV industry in general for you right now. And with that being said, I'm going to end the video there, ladies and gentlemen. That is all there is to gather from the new trailer. I'm hoping that the marketing for the show starts kicking off a little bit more so I can make more videos, especially with a month to go before its release. What do you all think of the new trailer and other information I talked about? Let me know if I missed anything that I didn't mention. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. If you did enjoy the video and you want to see more, be sure to give it a like, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Thank you all for stopping by Uncle Ira's Tea Shop. I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon in the next video.